What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be diving into a topic that's so close to my heart, which is how I turned my passion for videography and content creation into a profitable business. If you're watching this video right now, I know you have something that you're passionate about. I know you have that thing that you just love and want to do, but figuring out how you can do that as a full-time career can feel like a huge challenge. For those of you that are a little new here, a little bit of my background, I actually started off on a completely different track. I started off on a couple of different tracks, to be honest. You know, at the beginning of my college career, I was studying to go to med school, and then I kind of changed gears towards the latter end of my college career into transitioning into studying for law school. But in the midst of all those things, deep down, I knew that my heart wasn't really into it. It took a lot of years to get to this self-realization, but I finally did it. I was always drawn to my more creative and expressive side. So at the end of my college career, I decided to take that leap of faith and pursue my passion. In this video, I'm gonna share with you guys the practical tips and mindset shifts that help me turn what I love to do into a successful business. Whether you're just starting out or looking to take your passion to the next level, I wanna give you real actionable advice that you can apply to your own journey. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Let's talk about how I discovered my passion for videography and how it all started. To be honest, it wasn't a time where everything was going all nice and dandy. It was actually quite the opposite. I was going through a really dark time. I felt really lost and uncertain with what direction my life was gonna take. It was actually during one of the lowest points of my life, and it felt like everyone around me had it all figured out. In college, sometimes it may feel like you're being pulled in so many different directions by your friends and your family. You have so many influences that's put onto you. But sometimes through all that, you don't have time to think for yourself. You don't have time to really dig deep and figure out what you enjoy and what you want out of life, because you're being pulled by so many different outside factors. I remember my fourth year of college. I went to a 5-year school, but my fourth year of college, I was sitting in my dorm and I was just so overwhelmed, just so like, what am I gonna do in the future? Like, I don't really like the things that I'm doing. I don't really like the classes that I'm taking. Like, none of this thing really like excite me and interest me, right? So I decided to do something that would change my life forever. And it was so simple. It was so simple. I took out a piece of paper and I wrote down everything that I thought that I was good at. I wrote down all my strengths. I began going down the list, listing down all my strengths, everything that I'm good at, bringing people together, creating good vibes, curating events, making people feel good, making people laugh, making people feel inclusive and welcome. Those were the kind of things that I was good at and I'm still good at, right? I also wrote down videography because I used to always make highlight videos for myself and for my friends and share them online. That was something that I just was passionate about. Now that might sound really, really like cliche and simple to you guys, but this simple act was a game changer for me. It made me realize that videography wasn't just something that I enjoyed. It was something that I was genuinely good at and something I can see myself doing long term. This process really taught me the importance of self-awareness. If you're in a situation where you're feeling lost or uncertain or not sure what to do, how to take that next step, I promise you it starts with a pen and paper. I encourage you to really reflect on what truly excites you. This game of life is a game of ups and downs. Sometimes life is gonna push you to a breaking point, but sometimes those moments can truly be a catalyst for figuring out what you're truly passionate about. And it just starts by digging deep, really digging deep into figuring out why you're feeling this way, okay, and then focus on what you can focus on. Focus on your strengths. Focus how you can turn those things into power. It's about recognizing your skills and aligning them with your interests, and then from there is when you can really build something meaningful and impactful. All right, so now I figured out I want to do videography. What do I do now, right? When I first started videography, I didn't have nothing figured out. I just knew I had a camera. I bought my first camera back in like April. My first professional camera, I bought it in like April 2023. And I'm like, all right, bet. I know I want to start, but what do I do, right? The key here is to really start small. So I started with passion projects. One of my friends was an artist, so I was kind of playing like an artist manager role And I used to go around with him and just act like I'm his videographer. I used to create content for him, make videos, make highlight videos. When he'd go perform, I would like shoot and like make like highlight videos and stuff like that. I did that literally just to gain experience, to practice my skills, to improve on my skills. I did things like that just so I can get my feet wet and really explore my creative potential. You know, looking back on these, like they weren't always glamorous and definitely not the best work that I'm proud of, but these steps were really necessary to me finding my new creative identity, right? Like no one starts Picasso. No one starts being Picasso, right? You have to really develop yourselves and you got to really start from a ground zero. So don't be afraid to make those first steps when you know it's for you. It's for you to hone in on your skills and for you to find your own creative voice, your own creativity. It's so important to start now. It's so important to start wherever you're at, even if it feels like you're not fully prepared. Because if you don't, you'll never start and you'll never gain and develop those skills that you really need, especially as a beginner. It doesn't matter if you don't have the latest gear, you can literally start with your iPhone, you know? So don't make excuses for yourself. Also, when you start, right, over time, you start to gain confidence and you start to take on more projects. When I was managing my artists, I also was tapping into graduation shoots. Right? I was shooting a lot of graduation photos from some of my peers at school. I used that to kind of market myself, to establish myself as a photographer. Because remember, like when you step into this world, you're also creating a new identity for yourself, right? No one knew me as a photographer or videographer. In fact, when I started posting that I'm a videographer, photographer, people were shocked. They were like, what? Since when? You know, but I was very aware of that and I knew that, but it was very important for me to stamp myself in that new lane if this is something I really, really wanted to do. And obviously I made that decision in the beginning, like, yo, this is what I want to do. So I started building confidence. Next thing you know it, I'm hosting a big graduation shoot for the Bridge program at school, for the Drexel Bridge program. Shout out to Drexel Bridge. That was my first official photo shoot in which, like, you know, there was about like 15 people getting their graduation shoots and I shot them. And honestly, I did not know what I was doing. It was the first time I was in a studio. It was the first time I had like such big pressure to like deliver great photos to everyone. Like, I did not know what I was doing. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't. Like, it was my first time using studio equipment. I literally had to ask the studio manager all these questions. But guess what? I'm in there playing the part. I'm in there learning. I'm in there. Sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it, especially in the beginning. Sometimes you really gotta fake it till you make it. And you know, take that with a grain of salt, but sometimes it's very necessary just for you to build that confidence within yourself. You really gotta just step into that role now if that's what you want to do. And of course, since you love this thing, it's not going to be hard. Like, this is what you love to do, so stepping into it shouldn't be hard. If it's hard for you, maybe you should reconsider what you love and ask yourself, do you really love it for genuine reasons, right? But that was very, very difficult for me. But despite it being difficult, I knew that it was necessary if I really wanted to take it to the heights that I envisioned in my head. So from that shoot alone, I made a whole highlight video from it. And that also built momentum. That also helped put out there that, hey, like, I'm a videographer, I'm a photographer, I do this now. That helped put my name out there. So start small and figure out ways you can build momentum around that. So if you're at the beginning of your journey, remember, it's okay to start small. We all have to start somewhere. Focus on getting experience, honing in on your skills, and building confidence. Every small step brings you closer and closer to your goal. So as I started getting more and more experience in videography, I realized that I'm gonna have to start investing more into my craft. And that doesn't always mean buying the latest gear and the latest lenses, although that does play a part in this whole videography field. But more importantly, it's about dedicating my time and resources to my craft. One of the first investments I made into my videography business was education. Obviously, I don't come from a film background. I didn't study film or videography in school. So I needed to soak up as much knowledge as I could to be able to even compete in this market. So I bought courses. I stayed up on YouTube all night, literally researching all the best tutorials. I studied people. I would just read up on anything I could find about filmmaking or videography. I wanted to understand not only the technical side, but also the art of storytelling and how to truly engage with your audience. Those were the things that I was passionate about and I wanted to learn about. Continuous learning became a priority for me, and it still is for me. In an industry that's evolving and continuously growing at a rapid rate, it's important that you also learn your craft and continue studying your craft and to continue getting better, because we don't know what this whole creator space is gonna look like in 10, 20 years. We know it's gonna grow. We have data that says like this is a growing industry, right? But we wanna stay on top of that. We wanna learn as much as we can, because the more that we know about it, the more we can position ourselves to be on top. Of course, as I started to progress, I also started investing in my equipment, right? I started getting new lenses. I started getting microphones. I started getting gimbals, things that would allow me to take on bigger projects and more complex projects. And that's what really helped my portfolio stand out to potential clients, because now it's like, oh wow, I see the growth, I see the improvement, I see the professional quality. And I was very strategic about the investments I made, right? So I only bought things that I saw would make a direct impact in my craft. I only bought gear that I knew would make a difference in the kind of work that I wanted to create. These investments, both in my skills and my tools, made a huge impact in the long run. They helped me build a portfolio that attracted clients. They allowed me to take on more complex projects and ultimately turn my passion into a profitable business. But beyond the financial returns, these investments really fueled my growth as a creative and an entrepreneur. If you're serious about taking your passion to the next level, don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Whether that's honing in on your skills, buying that course, or really just putting in the time to really learn the ins and outs of your craft. These investments is what's gonna set you apart and propel you forward. As I grew my videography business, I realized that it wasn't just about skills and resources and the best gear necessarily, but what's just as important is your mindset. There's so many different mindset shifts that I had to lean into when I first started my videography business. And honestly, I want to make a whole separate video just on this, because I think this is literally what makes or breaks creatives today. There's a lot of things that I had to kind of unlearn in order to really step over those obstacles, right? The first mental battle I had to overcome was just the fear of failure. When you're first starting your business, any business, it's very easy to think about all the things that could go wrong. Oh, I'm not gonna make enough money. Oh, what are they gonna say about me? Oh, maybe this won't work, this won't work. You start psyching yourself out, right? You start like getting in that negative thought pattern. But quickly, what you're gonna realize is that business is literally built off mistakes. Instead of looking at it as something to fear, embrace it. Every setback that I had early on was literally an opportunity for me to grow. Instead of asking myself, oh, why am I not getting X amount of clients? I would think about all the things I was currently doing. Instead of seeing failure as an end, right? I began to see it as part of the process. You're gonna fail 100 times. You're gonna get 100 no's before you get your first yes. That's across all businesses, If it was that easy, everybody would be starting a business. But it's not. Most people in this world don't have their own business. Most people work for somebody. Nothing wrong with that. But it should show you that it's hard. It's not an easy thing to do, right? So you have to kind of just accept that failure is going to come. And instead of looking at failure as this bad thing, look at the good things you can extract from your failures, right? Which leads me into the second thing that I had to learn, which is really cultivating a growth mindset, right? And this really means like believing that your abilities and your skills can be developed over time. I stopped thinking about where I was and started thinking about where I could be. I can always improve as long as I put in the work. Even if in this given present moment I don't have all the answers right now, I could if I work at it, and I can figure out any answer I'm looking for along the way. It truly is a journey. That's why you have to kind of unlearn a couple things and shape your mind to go in that direction of always trying to learn, always figuring it out, right? We have enough people in this world for everybody to eat. You don't have to go take from someone's pie, or you don't have to go talk down on somebody just for you to get something out of it. No, there's enough good in this world for all of us to eat. So it's about really positioning your mind into those good things, because everything you want in this world is all energy. It's all vibes. So it's about aligning yourself with that. So again, like, I really want to dive deep onto like just mindset in general in another video, but I'll just keep it like, you really like, in order to really succeed in this creative space, you have to assume that you're in this for the long run. That's why it's so important for you to figure out like what you really, really love and what you would do on this earth for free. Because you need to accept that you're going to be doing this for the long run. And because of that, you're going to look at things from a different perspective, right? You're going to be more eager to learn the things you don't know. You're going to be more open and receptive to certain things. You're going to persevere. You're going to be determined. Even in those times where it's so tough and it feels like nothing is going your way, you're going to be grounded. You're going to be like, you know what? Tomorrow's a new day, another day where I can grow and learn and succeed. My fault, y'all. My mic cut out for a second, but we back in action. All right. The next thing I really want to talk about is building a strong network and strong industry connections. Now, when I continued my process and continued my videography business, I was quick to learn that I wasn't going to be able to get to the heights that I wanted to alone. I needed to assemble a team, or at least be around like-minded individuals who are also making those steps to achieve their goals, right? So I started to network with other creatives, with other videographers, with other photographers, with other content creators, with other people in this field, just so I can be around people who also have similar goals to me, right? In the midst of those, I also came in contact with a lot of entrepreneurs, with a lot of business people who run creative businesses, or people whose businesses rely on creative needs, like content creation, like copywriting, like video editing, like, you know, having a brand and aesthetic. And I came across this jeweler who was in Philadelphia. He's very well known in Philadelphia, working with a lot of high stake clients, celebrities, artists, athletes, things of that nature. And I ended up locking in with him and really being there at a very crucial point in his business and his brand. That experience alone helped me just sharpen my skills. Because of this connection I made, I was able to open new doors and new opportunities for myself. For someone starting out, you have to get comfortable with putting yourself out there. You have to get comfortable with talking about your business. That's the only way you're gonna grow. I like to think of it, there's two sides to it, right? There's a digital aspect where obviously we're promoting ourselves, we're using social media to get that reach, but there's also a physical aspect too. You also have to know how to talk about your business. You have to learn how to be in certain rooms and be strong in those certain rooms. When people talk to you, you have a strong voice, you have a confident voice, you sound like you know what you're talking about. In the beginning, understanding like you may not have everything figured out, but it's super crucial to always keep the frame that you're confident in what you're doing, you're confident in your offer, that you have value to offer and provide. Because if not, people aren't going to take you serious, like straight like that. What I've learned is life and business is cutthroat. If you don't have value to offer to people, bye. Why should I even talk to you? You're wasting my time. That's the type of attitude people have in just business in general. So you have to be ready for those moments to provide value, to be in a room, absorb knowledge, and also give knowledge to people. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like, go to networking events, attend online communities, online workshops, go out and meet people, go to places where you know a lot of business owners are there. Go to places where you know a lot of content creators are going to be there. You never know what can spark out of a genuine conversation, a genuine relation. Those are how like the best connections are made, just literally just being there and being yourself. I would also recommend finding a mentor. Find someone who aligns with your values and your vision and your goals, right? I kind of look at mentors like a cheat code. You're probably going to find a mentor who has done the things that you want to achieve. So they're able to give you a literal blueprint for what they did, and they can just tell it to you. All you have to do is listen and implement. And what I've learned about like just having mentors love when they feel like their work and their time is being appreciated and used. Example, if my mentor told me to do something, I would do it and let them know about it, tell them about my experience on it, because that almost bigs them up and makes them want to help you even more. So definitely find mentors that kind of align with your values and your goals, and listen to them, and then report back to them. Tell them. And also remember, like, mentorship is also a two-way street. So always look for ways that you can add value to their lives too. And don't say you can't add value because they're better than you. No, you can add value by literally sharing your time and spending time with them, figuring out what they need in their business or whatever they got going on. Find out how you can offer your time to them. They will greatly appreciate that, and in turn want to help you even more. Networking and mentorship has been a crucial stepping stone in my success, and I believe that it can be impactful for you as well. Surround yourself with the right people, learn from them, and watch your growth accelerate. One of the cornerstones of building a successful videography business is offering value and showing that your work is not only good, but it's exceptional. For me, it meant really honing in on my storytelling skills, my editing skills, my ability to really connect with one's audience. And that requires also me becoming a better listener and really listening to my clients' needs, how they articulate their brand, because branding is a two-way street. The one side is you have to listen and understand their brand, right? And the second part is implementation. So it's very important that I had to hone in not just on the implementing and creating visuals, but also learning and understanding how to do research and how to understand people and find out what works. Whether it was capturing a wedding or shooting a brand campaign, I always aim to be as meticulous as possible, to be very intentional with how I shoot, to be very intentional with what shots I wanted to create, because at the end of the day, I wanted to create something that resonated with my audience and truly made an impact. Storytelling was at the heart of everything I did. It wasn't just about creating engaging visuals and making things look cool. It was about conveying emotion and really creating a memorable experience. Prioritizing quality over quantity was also a key principle I had to learn. So in the beginning, it might feel like you have to take on every project because you want to just keep getting your feet wet, which is good, which is I recommend. But at a certain point, I realized that creating top-notch work consistently would pay off in the long run. By focusing on producing high-quality content, I set myself apart from others and just created a reputation for excellence. And that commitment to quality didn't go unnoticed, because a lot of my clients today come from referrals. So I have a lot of repeat clients, people that I've worked with that have come back 2, 3, 4, 5 more times, you know? And that's because I focused on really understanding their needs, what they wanted, and delivering quality content. I focus more on the quality and the nitty-gritties as opposed to, you know, if I just did it kind of fast and not really focused on the quality. When clients saw that I wasn't just meeting their expectations, but exceeding them, they were more likely to come back and work with me. So if you're building out your creative business, just understand that creating value and focusing on quality can really be a difference maker. Aim to deliver exceptional results every time. It's not always going to be that way, but have that be your goal. And don't compromise the standards that you set for yourself. Over time, this dedication will help you build a loyal fan base and establish a strong reputation in your industry. Which brings me into the next topic, which is monetization strategies. Now, when it comes to turning your passion into a successful business, you really have to think about and be creative about how you make money. And part of that is really diversifying your income stream so that you can build a sustainable business model. For me, client work was definitely a significant revenue source. I took on projects ranging from weddings, brand campaigns, events, and by consistently delivering top-notch quality and nurturing my client base, I built a pretty reliable stream of income. Another crucial strategy was monthly retainers. Monthly retainer usually comes in the form of I'll deliver X amount of content in a given month. So for example, just to put numbers to things, I would come to a business and say, hey, I can give you 10 videos in a month that you can disperse how you'd like for $3,000 or $2,000, whatever it is. That would be an example of like a monthly package. And that's something that within the last several months I've been implementing into my business, and something that kind of builds foundation for you. Your income becomes a little bit more reliable because you know who you're working with month to month, while still giving you that freedom to do those one-off creative projects. Monthly retainers are really for brands and businesses that see the value in content, that want to put out content consistently, and just really need that help in that department. And I like partnering with brands who also see the value in content and want to put out content consistently, because that's where my business literally comes and bridges that gap between their problem of not having content and their solution of being able to express their ideas, express their product, whatever it is. If you're a creative business, I would definitely recommend that you push monthly retainers, because that's what's going to give you kind of the foundation of your business. Brand collaborations also play a role. Brand collaborations can come in a lot of different, like, what's up, Ginger? You all right? Brand, again, like when you're in a creative business, you're also in a lot of creative decision making and just creative business structures, right? So a lot of collaborations, depending on the brand, can be like in exchange for money, in exchange for community, in exchange for engagement and reach. It all really depends. But in my experience, a lot of I say it was split between paid and unpaid. A lot of them can be just great opportunities to get your brand out there, to get your video services out there. If it's a big influencer in your city or a big, I don't know, restaurant in your city, right? It might be beneficial to do a collab with them, because now other people in their niche can understand that you're a videographer, you're a photographer too. So it helps you out in that case, especially when you're starting out. I definitely would recommend you guys add brand collaborations to your monetization strategy, because even if you don't get paid, at the worst, you get free exposure, and that's a win. Diversifying your income stream is so pivotal to any business, especially a creative business, because it just reduces the risk and provides stability, especially when one income source is unpredictable. By incorporating retainers and really locking in long-term with your partnerships, you're able to just focus on delivering high quality work without constant concern about finding new projects or finding new clients. As I reflect on my journey from law school prospect to full-time creative entrepreneur, videographer, honestly, I don't even know what to put a title to myself. I kind of don't like titles because I feel like they box you in to an extent. I feel like I'm just a creative. I'm a creative in anything I do. Videography and photography is just a tool that allows me to be creative. I'm creative with my friendships. I'm creative with my family. I'm creative in business. I'm creative just in general. I don't really like titles for real. I feel like I can do anything I really want, and you can do anything you want. Like, it's really just a mindset thing. But throughout this journey of just transitioning and going through so many phases and identity phases, I've learned a lot of things, you know. I've learned about really just embracing the learning curve. No one becomes a millionaire overnight. If you decide to start this business and to take the next step, you're gonna be faced with so many challenges. You're gonna be faced with so much doubt, but each one is gonna teach you something valuable. You just have to keep that mindset. There's a lot to be learned along the way. You just gotta learn, implement, fail, learn, implement, fail, learn, implement, fail, and just keep it rolling, you know? Business has taught me about myself and how I approach things and my mindset about things outside of business. So I had to work on my outside life so I can be good at business. It's really taught me just staying true to your vision. A lot of people are not gonna see it how you see it. It's just facts. Like, If you have these big dreams and goals of yourself, how do you expect your mom or your dad to see it how you see it? How do you expect your friend Sally to see it? They're not in your brain. They're not in your mind. So it's like, in the beginning, I used to get upset because, damn, why isn't this person supporting me? Why don't I hear this person? Oh, this person is not reaching out. But at the end of the day, most people don't do it. No, most people don't take that leap of faith, And on top of that, unfortunately, it's easier to hate on somebody than it is to show them support. It's easy to see something on Instagram and see something on social media, and your first instinct is to say something and gossip and say something bad about them, than it is to message them and be like, yo, I'm proud of you, keep going. It just is. It's just the era that we live in, So don't get discouraged if people don't support you right away. People are gonna start supporting you when you start putting in the work, but don't even worry about that because it don't really matter. As long as you know that you're being true to your values and you're staying true to your vision, that's all that should matter, truly. I've also learned to really prioritize your relationships, That goes for your friendships, your family, your relationships, like all that is super crucial. I used to be one of those people who just let time pass and just do everything. This weekend comes around, we go out, we drink. Next weekend goes around, we go out, we drink. Next weekend go around, we go out, we drink. Before you know it, you went out and drank 2 months in a month, 2 months in a row. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a time and place for everything, right? If you say that you have this big goal and dreams and this big vision, then just act accordingly. There's a time and place for everything. If you want to really get busy and go after your dreams and really pursue your passion, some things are going to have to be on pause. That's just the way it is. Dreams don't work unless you do. So if you can justify that you can still go out every day, every weekend, and still hang out with the people that you know are toxic and bad for you, go ahead. In my experience, I had to let go of certain things. I had to minimize certain things. I had to kind of just look at things a little bit differently, prioritize who I spend my time with, and make those necessary adjustments because I realized I had to come to the conclusion that my goals and my visions are more important than anything. That's like the mental conclusion you have to come to really start seeing the fruits of your labor. Just keep going. I'm telling you right now, times will be tough. You will be wondering, damn, is this still for me? But if you truly love what you do, your passion is gonna help you propel and get over that hurdle. I promise you. You just gotta keep going, keep staying committed, keep pushing forward, stay motivated. Follow pages that motivate you. On Instagram, start cleaning out stuff that don't serve you. Because remember, you're putting that in your brain and it's constantly reminding you subconsciously of certain things. So start wiring your brain how you want it to be. Start putting your brain in front of things that excite you, that bring that joy out of you, All right, listen, I want to conclude with this. For all my aspiring entrepreneurs, it's a very, very simple process. Very, very simple. Number one, find your passion. Figure out what you're good at. Find your strengths. Figure out something that you would do for the long run. Think about something that you would do for the rest of your life for free. Your passion will be your biggest motivator. The next thing, number two, set realistic goals. Break down your vision into manageable, actionable steps. Then take steps towards it. Create a plan to achieve them. And then from week to week, month to month, regularly review them and make changes as needed. Just because you write something today doesn't mean it's going to be exactly what it is a month from now. Things change, life happens. And sometimes with that, your goals change, but always keep the vision the same. Third thing, seek feedback. We might be the biggest fan of ourselves just because we created something, or we might always think our stuff is hot, right? But seek feedback. Find out what this leader thinks, or what your friend says, or hey, what do you think about this? Can you give me your constructive criticism? Now, with that, there's a caveat, right? You're just there to listen. You don't have to take in everything people say as true. That's something else I'm going to talk about on this channel, right? All advice isn't great advice. You got to also have that discernment on what advice you'll take, what advice you won't take. But it's important to seek feedback. They can really help you improve and refine your approach if you need to. And then last, just stay adaptable. You know, the creative business is ever changing. It's evolving right now. It's growing at a rapid rate. We have all the data to support that. So always be willing to just pivot your strategies, pivot how you do things. This is why this era is really benefiting the younger generation, because younger people are more able to adapt, right? You ever wonder why your parents been doing the same things for 30 years, or older people just in general are just more stubborn, right? But right now we live in a time where the younger generation are really eating, because we're able to adapt to new environments and to make changes as needed. So always remember to just stay adaptable. This can really change any second. You have to be ready for it. Really remember that turning your passion into a successful business really takes high-level patience, determination, great focus, commitment, adaptability. I just named like 7 different things, but you have to really hone in on that. Stay true to your values. Always keep your vision up here, like keep focused on your vision, and just don't give up, and just never stop learning. Your passion truly has, right now, better than any time ever in history. Your passion has the power to really transform into something special. If you've been thinking about turning your passion into a profitable business, I really, really encourage you to start today. I know what it feels like to keep putting it off, to keep saying tomorrow. I promise you, the only thing you're doing is holding yourself back. Whether it's writing up a plan, seeking out mentors, learning new skills, whatever it is, any small step towards your goal of pursuing your passion is a difference. Every small step counts towards building out your dream life. Listen, I'd love to hear from you guys. Leave a comment, share your own experiences. Let's really build a community where we support and learn from each other's stories and just support each other. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want more videos like this, sharing my experience on running a videography business and just realities of it. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. I appreciate you guys if you made it to the end of the video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I promise you we're just getting started. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.